Performance tuning. Okay, so here what we will do is we'll just take a look at how we can diagnose where the problem is when you encounter any performance related issues. If this visual takes longer time to populate the data here, so why it is? Is there any problem with the source system SQL server? Let's say you have used the direct query storage mode. Does it takes longer time to get the query output from the SQL server or other RDBMS system back to your Power BI? Or is there any problem with the DAX query that I'm using it here? Okay. So, or is there anything wrong with the data model design? Okay, data model design. Okay, first what we will do is your data model design should also be optimal, and also the type of the storage which you use, it should also, the type of the storage mode which you use it also matters a lot. It will also have a significant adverse impact on your performance. Okay, the one is the source system SQL query issues in case of any bottleneck there, right? Or the second reason could be like DAX query. You have written a DAX query, but it is not doing good job. Okay, probably can I rewrite a DAX query? Will that help improving my query's performance? Okay. Other thing is like the model design. Okay, I everything is good. My DAX query is good, and source system, let's say the direct query is also good. And where is the problem? So the model. Okay, do you have any problem? The model. The model you did not create the optimal design. And other thing is, yes, I have created the optimal data model design, but still the storage mode which I used it was not correct. Okay, so in that case also it can cause problems. Let's start with the query, DAX query. For example, if I select this visual and how do I diagnose, right? I'm going to click on the performance analyzer. So this is available under your view ribbon, okay? And you need to click on this one and select the visual which you wanted to, do the analysis. Let's say in your case, in your report page, you have 5 or 6 visuals are there. You want to see which visual is, causing a problem. Okay. So in this case, I've selected, I have only one visual. I just selected it. I'm going to, I just enable the performance analyzer, and I'm going to click on the start recording. Okay, now it started recording the thing. It kind of enables some kind of trace. Next step is you need to click on the refresh visuals. Look here. In this case, I'm using some kind of slicer here. Okay, and then text box. Look here. This is what I'm talking about it. If I go to this page, so see here also, right? I am using a synchronized slicer. So in this case, what happens is the slicer, and I'm using text boxes and matrix, okay, adventure works and other things, databases, right? Everything is there here. Sorry, it's not a database. It is the data that is available as part of this one, okay? So I'm using a text box and slicer, and also I'm using some kind of, the adventure works, right? So this is the one I'm using it here, changed page. Okay, anyhow, we will ignore this one at this moment. I just go back to the duplicate of sales here. And here, if you see here, there are 3 things are there, right? So for example, if I expand matrix, here you'll find various options here. So what we are seeing here, we are seeing that when I expanded matrix, we can see DAX query and visual display and other, okay? This is my DAX query 117. So, this one, the matrix took to refresh millisecond. We have different visuals, different objects are there. For slicer just took 463 milliseconds, and text box 60 milliseconds. And here the 907, something like that. But if you compare all the other objects or the visual here, you can see that the matrix is the kind of a culprit. Okay, here it takes longer time compared to other type of visuals or the text box, okay, object here, but matrix takes 907. So now I just wanted to go next step and take a deep dive to understand why the matrix takes longer time. Okay, first of all, what is the DAX query, and what is visual display, and what is the other the DAX query. Okay, what is DAX query? This is the time between the visual, right? This matrix visual sending the query and the analysis service returning the results, the back and forth. Okay, so how much time it takes to send the query and then get the result back. So in this case, we don't see the direct query here. So if it is a direct query, you will have one more option here: direct query, DAX query, direct query, visual display, and other. Since this is cached here, pack cache, which is nothing but X velocity cache. This data got cached in memory. How much time it took to, query the X velocity memory to get the data back? That is what it shows DAX query here. Here we don't have direct query because for this I did not use a direct query mode. Okay, everything is available. The data is available locally here. DAX query took 117. So here it is nothing but the time spent to send the query to visual right from the X velocity engine. Okay, that is what we can see it here. So this is the time it took. And visual display, what is the visual display? The time it took to render this visual. Okay, time it took to render the visual. And what is the other? So this is the one. The other is the time spent waiting for the other operations to complete. Okay, that is what it shows. So what do you mean by other operation? This basically the synchronization time between the different visuals in your page. Okay, different visuals in the same page, and it should not be considered as a bottleneck. You have different visuals are there, and how that one interacted with this one. Okay, it's basically right. It is usually waiting time caused by other pending operations performed by other visuals. Okay, so that is what your other. So now you understood what is DAX query. DAX query is nothing but see every visual in your report page, it generates one or more evaluate statements in a single request sent to your engine. Okay, or in simple term, how much time it takes or the time between the matrix sending the query and the analysis service returning the result, or the data which got queried, right? Querying the data from your memory and get the result back. How much time it took? 117. The time, okay, it took this much of time to get the data back here from your cache, and how much time it took to render the display here. So if you have the data that is not 7, again it has to render it here, right? It has to display here. For this it took 2 to 7. Other is, yes, the other, like I said, the time spent for waiting for the other operations to complete. Okay, and what I do is, okay, let me see, is there any other way that I can improve this query's performance? Okay, and I'm going to just click on the copy query. It got copied here, and then I just go to my the DAX Studio also. This is my DAX Studio, which I already opened it here. This is what my performance tuning part 2. Look here. Once you, even DAX Studio also, like a tabular editor, you can go and download it from the internet, but it's a free. There is no trial version. You can use it as long as you want it. Once you download an installation, you can launch it. Type DAX Studio in your start button, right? And it will get launched. Right. So if you type it, it will display the icon. When you click on it, it will get open. The installation is pretty simple. Once it gets downloaded, click on the if you click on the exe file, right, it will open up the installation window. Click on it, and then the installation will be done. Okay, it will not take much time. And once you launch the DAX Studio, what you need to do is you need to select this one, because we are not opening any tabular server, SSAS table. We are going to open the Power BI model. So in this case, which one we are working on it? We are working on performance tuning part 2 Power BI. So I have 2 files with the same name almost, right? Don't get confused. So you need to make sure that you are selecting the right file and click on connect. It will get connected here. Now we got connected here. On the left side, you can see the tables that we have that are available as part of the report file, right? So we can see the 5 tables. 5 tables are available. I just copy paste it. I just clicked on the copy query, For example, if you expand this one, you will find the copy query, right? Let me just see. For the text box and all, you will not have any query. For the matrix, and if you have any other visual, you will find the query there. This is, the South Ring. So this is the one is related to your, the adventure box. You can see that. Let me just see. Let me just do, yeah. Even in this case is visual display only. The text box, you can see visual display and matrix, and then where is that? I just expanded it. Okay, here nothing is there. Okay, yeah, it is kind of only one thing here. I just clicked on the copy query and then I just pasted in my DAX Studio. And if you see here, a lot of things are there. You're very difficult to interpret. You can see that the summarize columns and roll up, add is total, everything is there. So what we will do is, see in this case, if you do something like, see, I just copied the matrix from here. This matrix was available in that page, I just copied it, but the slicer is a sync slicer. And I just go to this one. Here, what we do is, instead of, sales customer key, in this case, what are summarize columns, grand total row, something we can see that is grand total. And here, if you see treat as, it is creating the virtual relationship, okay, customer continent, something like that, okay. So here, what I will do is, I will just, let me just do one thing. And if you just go here, you can see the product name and the customers here. Look here, in this case, in this visual, what are the columns that I used it? Product name and then the customers. But if you click on this one here, let me just see here. I just say the customer here. Let us do expand this one and sales here. Look here, this is the measure that you used it in this one. But this one is bit difficult to, sorry, the one which we copy is bit difficult to understand this one. But if you rather open this measure which you have created it here, so in this case, I've created this measure here. Okay, what we will do is we will just take a snapshot of this one so that we can compare it. We can do some kind of benchmarking. I'll just press the Windows and print screen. I just put it in a MS Paint. Before and after effect. I'm going to rewrite this DAX query. After rewriting this, what is the performance gain? That is what, look here, this is the one, right? So I'm going to rewrite this one. So what I do is initially, it was something like that. Okay, here, okay, if I do something like this, distinct count, see, basically we want to understand how many number of customers are available for each product, right? Each product, how many number of customers, they bought it or they visited in my website, something like that. Here, if I replace this one with this distinct count, sorry, it should be other way around. Okay, and I already made changes here. Okay, sales, here, I just used filter initially. Filter function. And then you know very well, in the case of filter function, you need to specify the first argument as your sales. In this case, this is my sales, and that's all. Okay. But the beauty here is we are using some kind of condition here. If the quantity is greater than 0, you filter only that record. So the filter function will create the virtual table behind the scene. On top of this, we are performing the distinct count on the customer key. Okay, and here when I select this one and if I press enter, let's see what happens. Now I made a change to my DAX query. Now, if I go and select this one, okay, if I go and select this one, and then if I stop this one, and then I'm going to wait, it is still going on. Because I have changed the DAX query. I just removed the key filters and then I just put a filter function there, okay? And I'm going to I'm going to click on the start recording and then refresh visuals. Ideally, I should have done the clear. Let me do one thing. I'll just clear, in the interest of, okay, I just stop this one. Let me do one thing. I'll just clear this one. Okay, I'm going to start it from the, beginning. So I just selected the matrix, click on the start recording, and then click on the refresh visuals. And if you see here, yes, the same thing it shows here. And for the matrix, it shows 7081. Okay. And if you see here, the previous one snapshot, the matrix just took 907. Now it takes 7081. DAX query is 6722. What we will do is we will refresh one more time because based on the first time, we cannot decide. I'm going to, refresh it one more time. Now, if you see the matrix, it is doing it. So look here, the matrix only takes time. 9679 this time, okay, and millisecond. And I'm going to refresh the visual again. So look here, I have the slicer here. So this slicer also it is taking into account. Okay, all the visuals in this page is taking into account. The slicer 2545 and then 1431 and 759. And if you expand the slicer here, DAX query visual display, even in this case, yeah, let's see DAX query visual display. Everything is same here. But in the case of slicer, the recent one, I can see the DAX query took 11 milliseconds, but other took longer time, right? So to refresh other thing, right? It takes this much of time. And then when I click on the matrix, again 9481, it takes a lot of time, right? So, but here it was far better, but here it is taking you just think this way, the opposite. So you have used a filter function in your DAX query, and with this we can see that the elapsed time to refresh this one, right? It took this much of time, milliseconds. And let us try one more time. So you need to at least 5 to 6 times you need to click on the refresh visuals. Now the slicer is 632. Okay, fine. And the matrix 7182. And here, how much time? 907. Still look here, in this case, I've used the key filters. When I use the key filters, it is pretty faster compared to my filter. Okay. I thought of using the filter first and then, making a changes to that one showing that. But initially, right, it's both the things are same, both approaches are same. Usually this is how like that. Okay, you need to keep the filter function and you kept it something like this. Okay, it takes a lot of time. So what you do is you just go and open the measure and then instead of filter, you replace it with key filter. Okay. So here what will now, it takes a lot of time, right? So what I do is I just go back and select the customers here. And instead of the filter function takes a lot of time. What I do is I'm going to say key filters, and then the key filters doesn't require the table name. Now let us see what is happening. 1168 DAX query, and it is far better, right? 8,000 and all were there, and I'm going to refresh it one more time. Now you see the matrix millisecond. It took very, very less time here. Okay. So here, what is the difference between these two? Both of them are more or less same. Only thing is the filter. Here it creates a, the filter table. This is the one returns a table, right? The virtual table. On top of that, you are finding it. Here, what you are doing is you are, you are using the key filters function. What it does is it goes and checks, right? Sales quantity, wherever the quantity is greater than 0, only that one you can fetch it. Hence, it is, but in this case, what happens, right? Virtual table is getting created and then you are checking that one. But whereas here, while fetching the data itself, while doing the distinct count, right? So what it does the filtering, right? A Boolean filtering. Okay. It is not a table expression filter, Boolean expression, because we are using greater than sign here. And then we are not using a filter table expression function to filter the data. So that is why the Microsoft recommends wherever it is required, you can use the Boolean expression instead of using the table expression. This is what your table expression. Okay. So behind the scene, it has to create the virtual table and then it does this. And here, while doing the count, you don't have to create the virtual table. What it is while doing the count, you can filter it on the fly, right? Hence, it is faster. So look here, it is pretty faster, right? The 578, right? So it is much better than the previous snapshot. But the with filter, we saw that 8,000 and all milliseconds, right? And then even after we ran it, we refreshed the visual several times. Still, we did not see much improvement. Even the others also took less time here. And I'm going to click on it two more time. Let us see what happens. There will be some kind of variation, but overall, we can see that it is not the slicer matrix 1134. It is far better. So in this case, the matrix 578 and 1134, I'm going to refresh it one more time. Now, if you see the matrix 619, good. So consistent, there will be some kind of variation, but if you average it, it will be, well within the, limit, right? But in the previous case, if you could have averaged that one, but still it was way beyond this value. Okay. So it is pretty fast. So now you understood, the impact, the positive impact, right? So we can make it by rewriting the DAX coding. This is one example. The other example is something like, I just close this one.